White-striped Basculin are a bit of an oddity. While Professor Laventon first writes about them as though they're a regional form of Basculin, and the TCG classifies them as Hisuian Basculin for gameplay purposes, mechanically in-game they don't seem to be a Hisuian variant, as they don't require an Everstone to preserve their form when breeding, unlike other regional form Pokémon. And unlike most other Hisuian Pokémon, these Basculin have managed to escape seeming extinction in one small pocket of the Timeless Woods. At the beginning of 2024, I took notice of this pond, and having just gained access to Infinite Flight from the Indigo Disc DLC, attempted to hunt for white-striped Basculin with a Misty Mark. This plan ultimately fell through, as in order to hunt for Pokemon with the Misty Mark, they must be able to spawn while the player is considered out of bounds on the edge of the Chotakana map. The single pond Basculin appears in is too far inland to spawn anything with the player on the world border, and while there is the possibility of triggering misty weather by flying up and gliding down to slowly spawn Pokemon, the fog threshold near this pond is extremely high up. Having put the idea of Misty Mark Basculegion on the back burner, nearly 10 months since the last one with the Chi-Yu raids in September, we finally have our first Outbreak event of 2026, featuring Dondozo, Tatsugiri, and Veluza in Casseroya Lake, Slowpoke and Psyduck across mainland Paldea, Lapras and Blueberry Academy, and most interestingly to me, Basculin and Phoebus throughout the waters of Kitakami. Now Phoebus outbreaks are already a great get for this event, as Phoebus normally only exists in a narrow cavern beneath the Crystal Pool, and the Switch 2 update made this hunt quite a bit more difficult as well, as unlike on Switch 1, it's not enough to move between the two chambers of the cave to despawn the existing Phoebus. And while this event does also mean that Phoebus can be found with the Misty Mark in Kitakami, it already had access to this mark when encountered in Sword and Shield's Balamir Lake. And Milotic can be found as a wanderer in multiple places in the wild area, specifically during foggy weather. This is, however, White-striped Basculin's first opportunity to ever spawn with the Misty Mark, and so with this brief history lesson complete, let's hunt Misty Mark Basculin before it goes extinct once more. The first location I was curious to try this hunt was this trapezoidal pond in Fellhorn Gorge. This spot has plenty of room to stand on the ridge, easily allowing Misty Mark Pokemon to spawn below. More importantly, this pond is home to a site that has appeared sporadically throughout the series, natural level 100 Magikarp. While previous Outbreak events had the potential to replace the Magikarp here with level 100 spawns of Cramorant, Porygon, and Porygon 2, after a few days of attempts, Anubis showed me a list of event spawners for Basculin and Phoebus, and unfortunately none of their level ranges matched up with that of the level 100 Magikarp spawners. But while we couldn't use that particular spot, a few others seemed promising. Wonder if there's any spots here on the cliff where Basculin is still in range to spawn. I think the game got confused. It heard me say Basculin and thought, oh, you mean 50 Lotads? I can do that. It's annoying that they are just immediately diving. Like, I thought they would only start diving if they saw you, but no, these ones are just like, nah, we're out. Is it because it's night? Thinking Wisteria Pond is just probably a bad spot for it, because just like, as soon as we touch the surface of the water, the game's like, 15 Lotad coming up. Or like, that's 15 Oricorio right there. I'm liking this spot, except for the fact that it's on Switch 1. We do have to move up and down, because if we stay in one height for too long, the game's going to be like, oh, you got stuck, didn't you? Let me plop you back down on the ground. There's that instant transmission glitch. I don't think you can do it on Switch 2, but basically it lets you, if you, like, as soon as your Pokemon becomes movable again after they start attacking another Pokemon, if you send them out again, they're still doing their attack animation when they get moved over. Had it happen a couple times when I was hunting Wattrel. One of those glitches where I don't know if it's just impossible on Switch 2 or if the timing is just tighter. I don't know if Mom 2 got a dedicated video. I don't think so. The shiny reaction is in the 2024 December Ranch Week compilation. Because that's why the name Mom 2. I got Mewtwo and then I got... looks like a shiny. Not marked though. I got Mewtwo, and then I got Mew in the same... ranch week, and so Magnemite jokes that it was like Mewtwo's mom, but I can't write out M-O-M-T-W-O because you don't get nicknames that long. There's another shiny. It is marked, so I'm gonna save. I don't know how to describe it, but critical catches are more angular on Switch 2. Like the throw arc becomes like a trapezoid on Switch 2. Whereas it follows the player's hand. Uncommon mark. You do not get a Safari Ball then. There's a shiny. Oh, wait. Okay, it rescued me to the... sandbar. So it didn't despawn it. I wasn't moving up and down enough. And so it triggered the rescue void out because it thought I was stuck on a wall somewhere. That was mildly terrifying. I don't have any Dream Balls, which I think is a really nice match for male Basculegion, so we'll use Safari Ball. It's Safari Week after all. How do you guys like my Safari Week shiny? There's the 5% event mark. This is on the Switch 1. This save file has been on the Switch 2, but I downgraded because it's easier to get more Basculin spawns with the reduced spawn radius here, or at least it feels easier. Speaking of Houndoom, it is really funny to see people justify Houndoom being a dark type, but Luxray not being a dark type. Like, the way people will talk about Houndoom in those conversations will be like, yeah, but Houndoom's, like, literally Satan. Like, Luxray doesn't look like a dark type at all. Houndoom is, like, literally like if Satan was a Pokemon. I'm just saying, if moral alignment matters so much to being a dark type, why is Absol a dark type? And don't say it's because it has black fur and red eyes, because that doesn't count. Apparently. Why is Umbreon a dark type? None of Umbreon's Pokedex entries mention it being particularly antagonistic. I think there's a camp of I'll call them Pokemon tautologists. I think there's a camp of Pokemon typing tautologists that basically firmly believe every Pokemon is the correct type because that is the type that it is. Runerigus makes no sense to be a rock type because it is a ground ghost type. There's no universe in which any other type makes sense. Ponyta can jump over a mountain according to the Pokedex doesn't mean it should be a fighting type. Well, clearly Bounce is a flying type move. It should be fire flying. But the other thing that's funny about debating Pokemon type tautologists is it is so easy to imagine a timeline where, like, you know, an electron fired a slightly different way in Junichi Masuda's brain, and Luxray is an electric dark type. And if you were to ever suggest that Luxray could be a mono-electric type in that timeline, those same people would be like, no, it looks like a dark type. What are you talking about? The one that gets people really riled up is Florges. You'll be told you don't understand basic biology if you imply that Florges should be a grass type. Keep in mind we're talking about a fairy in a video game series about made-up creatures. Florges isn't a flower, it's a flower garden. Calyrex isn't a plant either. Calyrex just controls plants, but they're a grass type. I don't see how it's any different. If Calyrex being able to use grass type moves and control the growth of plants makes it a grass type, then the same should be true for Florges. They got a daisy in their fur pocket somewhere. I mean, just holding a flower doesn't make you a grass type, you know? So I've been told. Another marked Basculegion. I just think it's a little silly that Urshifu gets to be a water type just because it flows like water when it does karate or whatever, and Graplock literally lives in the water and is not a water type. Nope, another uncommon mark. Exact same rarity as a Misty mark. Here's another marked shiny. Also, just a very funny prank to make a Pokemon whose optimal shiny hunt requires that you fill the Pokedex, or fill the party and PC. There we go. Misty Mark, shiny Basculegion. It was female, which is, you know, not the fish that's terrorizing VGC right now. Actually see the... This happens sometimes if the geometry is a little weird. It can just fail to start the battle. I think is Tarantula just eternally falling? Can it not start the battle because Tarantula is not grounded? Okay, I've never seen this bug. Guy who has never seen Tarantula be like. Yeah, I don't think I can... If this was a shiny Tarantula, I don't think I would be able to catch it. Also, I can rotate the map while this is happening. Now we should take exactly 43 and be left with 1. Boom. Which marks did we get? We got 2 uncommon marks, a ferocious mark, and a misty mark.
There we go.